it would make for a really long show. So what up, YouTube? Anyways, hit that like button over there. We'll get going in just a second. I think we'll start with some music. God bless you. Please pray for our country. Thank you. And yeah, man, it has been a wild, wild month. It's going to get even more wild as we approach Tyler Robinson's hearing in September. That is, I told you guys, I said, as we approach September 1st, you're going to see the rhetoric, you're going to see the antics, you're going to see the propaganda. All of that is going to ramp up, and you're seeing it. Joe Rogan, all of these shills, right? People, making false accusations, trying to smear you, trying to dox you, all this shit, all of the tactics, all of the, online terrorism, all of that is going to be wielded by the establishment shills on both the left and the right as they try to bury the truth. And we just ain't having it over here. We just ain't having it. I'm not on board with that. Okay. Usually I double down when people try to force me into capitulation. So.
He don't talk unless the proof is in the lines. Receipts in the photo-coded truth in these rhymes. Power play chess, moving pawns through the blind. But a diligent denizen sees designs in the signs. They disguise what they hide, he just shows how it's shaped. Every source double check, never roll with the fakes. In this world full of wolves, he's exposing the snakes. Document every whisper, got the quotes and the dates. He don't chase what they post, he investigates where it stems. Paper trails never lie, follows links to the end. Truth is power, it bends, but yet it always defends. What's verified never shakes, even lost in the trend. So when he speaks, it's a lens, not a rumor or a vibe. He cuts through the noise, pulls the proof from the lies. This is for the people trying to see through the disguise. Diligent denizen where the real can survive.
Shout out Unconfined for making that song. He's a legend. He's right there. Real Unconfined on YouTube. And he's at Unconfined on X. Absolute legend. So I was trying to think, why did I get so interested in the Charlie Kirk case immediately anyways as a skeptic, right? I'm like, what did he do? What did he do? What did they do that, made me so skeptical, right? Like I immediately, there was something that happened that immediately set off my alarms, right? My alarm bells. I was like, this is not normal. This is not okay. What are they doing here? And so I put together a list of bookmarks of the posts that I've done over the last 10 months, not just mine, a few others, but a lot of my own, because I don't want to step on anybody's toes. But there's a compilation I did, and it's not all my work, right? Candace did work, Barron's done work, Ian Carroll, Ryan Matta, Mel up here, Village Mel. Like, these are all legends. Even Harrison Smith has his part to play. I'm going to share some of the on-the-ground interviews I've done with witnesses, not just the one in Panguitch, actually people who were at UVU that day, and said that the shot came from a different direction. But it was Terryl Farnsworth that got me the most skeptical of the whole damn thing, right? If it wasn't for him, I, probably would have not paid as much attention. But he was so, man, I had this picked out before. Sorry, you guys are having to wait for this. Oh, here we go. I found it. Okay, so let me make sure the sound's not on. Okay. So I have a compilation of the anomalies here. So this is the very first one that throws me off. Okay, this is the guy who removed the SD cards from the cameras, right? He absolutely removed the SD card from the cameras. Very, very weird, to do from a homicide scene. Just minutes after literally, I timed it. 2.5 minutes after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. In that few minutes, this guy runs back behind there, climbs up on the wall, makes a weird selfie video, declares that Charlie Kirk's, deceased, goes back, climbs on the bloody chair, rips the camera down, takes it, and then hands it off like a drug deal. Absolutely insane. Very, very strange behavior. You think that this guy's running to safety, but no, he's running into position to get a good camera view. So we are going to watch this. Let me get out of your way here. Oops. Yeah, so here, I'll just do this. This guy is the one that just did it for me, right? He absolutely is the one. It wasn't Candace Owens. It wasn't Baron Coleman. It wasn't anybody else, right? It is Terryl Farnsworth's fault that I am a skeptic. This whole 10 months, okay? It's not anybody else's fault. It's not Ezreal's fault. It's not TPUSA's fault. It's not Erika Kirk's fault. Not Candace Owens. This guy. Let's see. So, why? What did he do? Oh, I want to make sure there's no music playing. There we go. So that's him. That's Terryl Farnsworth. Shot happens. You can see he immediately shifts gears. He's about to run back behind the scene. If you're over on YouTube, hit the like, share that with everybody. Thank you so much. He runs back. He runs back around. Now it looks like he's running for his life, right? If you're on X, you can just mute the YouTube and make it picture in picture, and you can slide it up over the space. And so you can watch along with us if you want. Otherwise, I'll narrate it. Well, does he run for his life? No. He climbs up here on these rocks, right? He climbs up on these rocks. And let me just say this. As somebody who has climbed up on these rocks, it is not particularly easy to do, right? These are like softball-sized rocks that are on a hill, right? And they are more or less round, right? So when you step on them, they roll. It is not like particularly easy to climb up there. It's not particularly easy to stay in position up there because you are shifting your weight around on loose rocks, right? And he immediately, within 1 minute of Charlie Kirk getting assassinated, runs up here and gets into this funky position and records the scene, right? He records the scene. And so he is capturing calmly, just got his phone up, capturing all of the people fleeing for their lives, right? Fleeing for their lives. No concern. He's just waiting for Charlie. Look, you can see he's just patiently waiting for Charlie to come out. There he is. Okay. And here's the goof troop carrying Charlie, right? And he's just up there capturing it. So he, without even thinking, he runs back here and gets on these rocks immediately before they even have Charlie out here. I want you to think about the strategic planning that would have to probably take place in order to be up here, right? You would have to know that this spot is perfect to catch the angle that you want. He's got a video from above all of the heads, right, of Charlie being ran out here. And he ran out here and got in position for this immediately. There was no hesitation. No hesitation. He immediately ran into position. So weird, man. And there's more footage of that. And you can just see he's got his phone in landscape mode, and he is following along and watching them carry Charlie out. So weird. And so he puts it in selfie mode, right? Isn't that weird? He takes a selfie and then he holds it out like that, and you can see the depiction of it in his hand. And I think there's music playing, so let me make sure. Yeah, there is. I'll play the clip separately. And so thanks to Candace Owens, we have his selfie video Oh my God, they shot Charlie. Oh my God, who's they? Who's they, by the way? And how does he know he was shot? He ran. How do they know? Oh my God, they shot Charlie. Oh my God, they shot Charlie. He just shot Charlie. Right? That's what he just said. How do you know that? How do you know it was he? He just shot Charlie. He's dead. Now, just mind you, okay, we just watched them all carry Charlie out, right? While he was already up here filming this video. How does he know that Charlie's dead? He immediately ran behind the tent. He could not see Charlie. He was not in communication with any of the team that was surrounding Charlie. He immediately turned and ran and climbed up on this wall and declared that Charlie Kirk was deceased. How did he know that? How did he know? Oh, well, what is the next thing that he does? He waits for the police, who we know now to be plainclothes USU officers, right, to take control of the scene and clear people out. And what's the first thing he does? He grabs Charlie Kirk's bloody chair, climbs up on it, and takes the camera closest to Charlie from behind him and removes the SD card. This video, when I saw this is what had me like, okay, there's something, this is not right. This is a bigger operation than what we know. This is not the act of innocent people. Okay. You don't remove high grade videos, evidence from a crime scene if you are on the up and up, in my opinion. Okay. That's all in my opinion. So there he is. He's removing it. Right. And it's funny. This is actually the scene that got me. It was when he was digging through and he was like looking around all conspicuously, like darting his head around. Like you'll see it, right? He like lifts his head up right here. So he's looking around, looking all suspicious. Okay. This is Philip Goldsberry. This is This is the guy who actually wired the mic to, oh shit. This says it's connecting. Hopefully we don't lose the space. Can you guys hear me in the space? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. This guy is the one that actually hooked up. There's a picture of him hanging Charlie's lapel mic on. This is the guy. Okay. I want you to watch him. What happens here? He's removing the SD card. Okay. He just climbed on Charlie's bloody chair, part of the crime scene. He just stepped on it with his foot on the blood. I want you to think about how like degrading that is. Just morally degrading, right? Like no respect at all. So disrespectful. Hands it off to this guy. This guy goes back here. Right? You see him pop up over here. Okay. He's not paying attention. He's going to say, here, I got it. He's going to turn around. He's going to move over there. Allegedly it's a handoff. We don't see it because it's all positioned just so that we can't see every part of this. There he is. He's got his attention. He leans over, grabs whatever it looks like. And then he walks away and it appears that he stuffs it in his hat. Right there. That's all on the up and up, right? Well, not just that. It's, he gets a lot of attention for this. What he doesn't get a lot of attention for is the other camera and the other SD card footage that was messed with from the crime scene. So you remember when we were given TPUSA and the Charlie Kirk Show staff all of this grief about why he removed the SD card. Well, Andrew Colvett said somebody, he thought people were we didn't want anything to happen to it. We thought people were going to steal, right? That's why he removed it. He was trying to keep it safe. Well, look at this. Here we are. This is 9 minutes. And how do I know? Because the Life is Driving footage is a continuous feed. And so I timed it. And so this is, and we just lost the space. Wow. I'll get it back going, you guys. So Anyways, that sucks. I knew that it was going to crash. I saw it coming. They got us. Bro. I shouldn't have mentioned the group chat. They're mad. They're super mad. I think they just took us out. Crap. Sorry, X. Sorry, you guys. Sorry. We'll see what happens here. I'll start it back up. Yeah, that Life is Driving guy, he ended up being very, very... This whole thing is very sus to me. This whole, like, that video that he was doing, right? Like, it is... He ended up being, like... He hangs out with all of the Fedsloppers. He spends most of his time degrading people who don't buy the narrative. And if you'll notice, there are key moments that he moves his camera during this that allows for plausible deniability. And I don't think, in my opinion, that is an accident. I don't think that's an accident. I think that is intentional. If this is an operation, I don't know. I'm just saying it's very sus to me that he moves his camera away as they're handing off, like, as Terryl Farnsworth is removing the camera down from right here, this guy, and this is still him, that's video cameraing, he's still recording. He is moving his camera away every time they're in the middle of doing something very shady, right? Every time. He moves his camera away every time that they are doing something shady. And I find it hard to believe that it's coincidental after seeing his behavior when he came back onto the platform. It was very, very, very sus to me. Very sus to me. Yeah, I'm not a fan of him at all. So sorry, you guys over on YouTube. I am getting the X stream back going, since apparently it just randomly crashed, which is weird. It may or not be because I referenced a certain group chat. May or may not be. Just saying. I'm just saying. Let me get it here. I'm not trying to be too conspiratorial. Not too conspiratorial. But it is very interesting to me. Okay, there we go. I think we're good now. All right. So, yeah, repost the space, everybody. It crashed. Very interesting to me how this guy behaved after the event. He was very adversarial towards people who weren't buying the Fedslop narrative. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. There we go. Okay. I've got it fixed. So anyways, this is 9 minutes afterwards, right? Remember, he said that we had Andrew Colvett telling us that, you know, Terryl Farnsworth took this SD card because he was afraid that it was going to get stolen. Well, here we are, okay? 9 minutes later after the shooting, okay? This is about 7 minutes after he took the first SD card. And they have formed a perimeter all the way back here. It's about 50 yards, right? Maybe 30 yards. I mean, it's all the way back at the top row of the amphitheater, right? You actually can't go any further back. You're as far back as you can go. And you can see there are no civilians in or around the initial crime scene, right? And what do we have here? This is the two plain USU officers who are instructing and coordinating. And you know, I know Candace said that the state says this guy's a good guy, but I'll just have you watch here, okay? He is overseeing this whole area as Terryl Farnsworth is removing these SD cards. Okay, there he is removing. Okay. And then here's the second SD card. Okay. And this one doesn't get enough attention. This is the camera closest to Charlie Kirk in the entire event. Okay. There is no closer camera. Even the one behind him is further away than this one. Look where it is. It is directly pointed at his neck. Okay. Where is this footage? Did this go straight to the cops? It better have gone straight to the cops because it will show you exactly how Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Okay. There will be there's no like Bigfoot footage, right? There's no like there's not going to be any blurriness. These are 4K live stream capable cameras. According to Tyler Boyer, they were streaming these live to the studio and recording, right? So TPUSA, or Charlie Kirk Show, I should say more accurately, should have copies both ways, right? But if that's the case, here he is talking to one of the USU plainclothes officers. Here's the other USU, right? Alan is his name, Alan Robertson, who Candace ID'd, and I forget his name, the chubbier guy here. They're coordinating with Terryl Farnsworth. Look what Terryl Farnsworth does. Oh, he's getting into the SD card. Another one. The second camera of the day. Yep, 100%. The second camera of the day. And those cops are there letting him do it. So I'm on board with these guys are completely like off the hook. I believe that if we're looking at a large scale military operation, this gentleman right here appeared to have situational and operational control of the crime scene, at least for 10 minutes afterwards, at least after it had been cleared of everybody, when they're doing all of this, when they're removing this back camera, taking the SD card out, and when Terryl Farnsworth is accessing this camera. There's the cop watching him do it, okay, telling him it's okay. Here's the other cop saying, go ahead. And he's getting into it. And again, just like before, what does Life is Driving do? He moves his camera away just in the nick of time. Imagine that. Huh. Just as he is committing the act, this guy moves his camera. This is a common occurrence throughout this guy's footage, right? I was going to do like a whole watch party of this guy's footage. But then I thought about it. I was like, this is a Fedslop perspective. They want us to stick to this, right? Some of it's useful for these parts, but the reason why the angle breaks every time is to leave doubt, right? There's a break in the chain. We don't know what he's doing. We can't prove that definitively, right? He moved his camera away. Somebody could have took the spot. He could have been just cleaning off the camera, could have been plugging it in, whatever, right? So, but he got into 2 cameras that day. This dude's behavior, Terryl Farnsworth, he is the one that set me on my journey of not believing the Fedslop narrative, right? And there he goes, right? Let's see. Oh, I got music playing. Damn it. I should have made a different video. Anyways, he's sitting there telling him, I want you to look at the other camera guy. So we have another camera guy here. Okay. This guy's name's Sean. No, this is Sean. Okay. And me and him had a little bit of a back and forth on the timeline about this, right? He was acting like everything was on the up and up. He was going to talk to me. We were having a back and forth. He was, calling us names, being rude. A lot, much like the rest of the Charlie Kirk Show staff, people who were questioning things, asking questions, were met with vitriol and attacked, right? I can give you lots of examples of this in the 2 months after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Very vicious attacks. I just want you to watch, okay? The first thing that this guy does, okay, when the shot happens, when the big bang happens, as they refer to it, right? The Big Bang happens. This guy, just like Terryl Farnsworth, okay, instead of running to check on Charlie or looking around for his own safety even, he immediately turns into position and gets into position to watch Charlie get carried out. Okay, you can see from their reactions that they're observing that a gunshot occurred. Watch this guy really closely. This is one of the most viral posts I ever had, was this guy's behavior. I think I had like 12 or 13 million views. Snap. You see it? Okay, so you saw Flood jump. He looks at his compadre. His compadre looks behind the tent. Watch what he does. Charlie Kirk just got shot over here. Everybody's running and screaming. Okay? Did you see that? He just turned around without even looking. Without looking. He turns this way, right? Without even looking, and puts his camera there. That's where Charlie Kirk's going to be dragged out. Watch. Boom. Pivots without even looking. How did he know where to look? Why did he put his camera over there? Him too. He immediately moves over there to get in position. If it wasn't for this Asian cop right here, these guys would have remained there and got the footage of Charlie getting moved out. He grabs them and says, "Get out of here. Get out of here." Watch. So crazy they do this. Right there, he just told them they had to get out of there, and so they reluctantly walk away. Here's another example of strange TPUSA behavior. Okay, we now know this is a TPUSA volunteer who grabs this young man, Jed Jacoby, right? He grabs him in the middle of giving his witness account. Cooper Brown, what up, Cooper? Accosting this kid, right? Physically manhandling him to silence him from sharing what was going on. Yeah, I agree. I'm watching the YouTube chat. I don't think that the Asian cop knew what was going on. He definitely seemed to have a lack of awareness, right? But yeah, I can tell you what, man. If you came up and you grabbed me like this when I was talking to somebody, that's assault. And let me just tell you that whenever I get assaulted, I swing. So it's just a natural reaction. It just happens, right? Except for if it's a woman assaulting me, then I don't swing. But if it's a man and you come up and you put your hands on me, yeah, you're getting popped. Okay, I don't care where we are. Yeah, he just look at that. Just grabs this. Just grabs him. Just grab him. Wrestling with him. Shut your mouth. Don't talk. Shut your mouth. Right? These are the behaviors that made me skeptical. It was not. You can go back through and listen to my spaces. I didn't start watching Candace until like October, maybe even November, right? I was not already watching Candace. I hadn't followed Candace. I wasn't paying a lot of attention to what she was doing yet. It was through our spaces and people kept introducing things that she was breaking that I was started to respect her work, right? She continuously brought in evidence, but I was already investigating because of these anomalies and this behavior. This is a TPUSA volunteer manhandling a witness because he's trying to tell a cameraman what happened. Shit, we just lost sound again. Hold on. X just lost sound. Okay, there we go. So X needs to get his shit together. I don't know what's going on with that. So let's continue. This is Sam's thing about the phone behavior. We don't really need to get into that right now. Okay, so Terryl Farnsworth and Cooper Brown. Those are the two culprits that made me sus, right? It had nothing to do with anybody else. Didn't have anything to do with TPUSA, like as a whole. Had nothing to do with Erika Kirk. Had nothing to do with Candace Owens. right? Had nothing to do with Ian Carroll or Baron Coleman or anybody else, right? It was this behavior right here, right? Running away and then climbing up and videoing yourself and then removing SD cards from getting up here and doing this behavior. And if anybody doesn't know, I reenacted this, right? I reenacted this at the scene. Where is it? I think I have it. It's pretty funny watching my fat ass climb up on that wall. I think I have it somewhere. I think we should watch it. Here it is. Yeah, we'll watch it.
I get shot right there in the middle. This dude's standing right where the pots are. He turns around and he runs back this way.
Oh, wait. I don't think that X can hear. Let me make sure that you guys can hear. I'm sorry, X. I forgot. There we go. I think it'll play. We'll see. I can't promise that it's going to work. Oh, I lost my spot when I did that. Okay. So where is it? My reenactment. So you have to go over to YouTube if you can't hear it. Because I have it on a different thread. I can't do the space audio and use the same browser until Blank Speaker down there updates his shit. So I'm trying to do a hybrid for you guys, right? So bear with me. There it is. Okay, let's watch the reenactment.
Shot right there in the middle. This dude's standing right where the pots are. He turns around and he runs back this way. In time for them to carry, he's already standing up there waiting with his phone out and doing the selfie video by the time they drag Charlie out of here. That's how fast it happens. There's no fucking way he didn't know. Okay, so Charlie's on the other side of that flower pot. Terryl Farnsworth standing right here where these short flower pots, these bigger flower pots are. This middle one, actually, about right there. Okay? This is his loved him like a brother when they were talking about the SD cards on with Tucker Carlson, right? And Tucker did the smirk like, yeah, bullshit.
One of our dear friends that literally from the very beginning started with us and loved Charlie like a brother. He grabbed
look
the
at
SD
Tucker's
cards
face,
out of the
right?
camera.
This part, dude, kills me, right?
So,
like,
a
just loved Charlie like a brother. You know, he knows it's bullshit. Look at his smirk, dude. I've been watching Tucker for years. You can go back. I used to make memes of him. You say what you want, whether or not he's CIA or whatever, right? But I have been an avid watcher of Tucker for a very long time. Okay, and so I know his mannerisms. Whenever somebody lies in his presence, he smirks at the camera like bullshit, right? Watch.
And loved Charlie.
Watch.
One of our dear friends that literally from the very beginning started with us and loved Charlie like a brother.
Right? Look at that. Look at that smirk, bro. Love Charlie like a brother. He fucking knows, dude. He 100% knows right there. He knows, right? He doesn't just know. He knows. He knows. That's a no-knows look, right? Whenever you know, that's when you smirk like that. When someone's lying and you know, you give that smirk. That's what he's doing right there. 100%. 100%.
He grabbed the SD cards out of the camera.
So Farnsworth is standing right there, looking at Charlie, watches him get shot. His first reaction, he immediately turns right. Okay, he doesn't hesitate. He doesn't reach forward. He doesn't try to grab Charlie. He doesn't duck. Okay, his first reaction, standing right here, is to turn this way and start booking. Okay, he starts booking back here. So he sees the shot. Charlie hasn't even hit the ground yet. Charlie's like this. He starts to lean back like this. His security guys come over and they grab him and actually pull him to the ground. Okay? While that's happening, Terryl Farnsworth has already turned and begun running back here to climb up on that wall. So I want you to imagine there was just a shooting. Okay, Charlie Kirk was just shot. There is mayhem, there is chaos, there is people running everywhere. Charlie hasn't even hit the ground yet. He's already running back here. He climbs up that wall. I mean, this wall's almost as tall as I am. Can you see me now?
Yep. We can see you now.
Yeah, so I just want you to picture, okay, how much of a pain in the ass he climbed up right here and then through that loose rock and just so he could get this vantage point, right? It's make it make sense. And he does the weirdest selfie video. Oh, they shot Charlie.
They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie.
Nothing about that is normal. Nothing about that is normal. It is so insane. Someone in the YouTube says that, yeah, that wall's a lot taller than it looks. Yeah, you didn't climb. Yeah, so just imagine, right? He runs back there immediately and gets up on that. It's no easy feat, right? He immediately climbed up there and struggled to get up there because he's in worse shape than I am by the looks of it, right? And took this video.
He's dead.
How does he know that he's dead? How does he know that? He just watched him get carried out to the car. How do you know that? You ran immediately. God help him. Very strange. This guy is so weird. Look, you can see there in his own video. Look how loose these rocks are, okay? Like right here, right? Well, you saw when I was climbing, but they're loose. All right, this is not easy to stand on. As somebody who stood on them.
This bugs me the most about the whole fucking thing. You run out, you look over to your left, here's what you see.
All these people look over and they see him up there videoing it. One of Charlie's good friends.
As you're running out. It wasn't easy. He climbs up here. Oh my God, they shot Charlie. Oh my God, they shot Charlie. Oh my God, he's dead. All emotionless, all weird. And then he records the whole thing, the stampede of people panicking, running for their lives. No trace of emotion on his face at all. That for me is like the biggest red flag of all, is that his staff in the moments afterwards acted with a preordained manner, right? Like it was planned. He knew to climb up here. He knew this was a good vantage point, right? He is a camera guy. He came up here. The body hadn't even hit the ground yet. He comes over here, takes the selfie video and records Charlie getting dragged out and says that he's dead before he even knows it.
Before he even knows it. He said that Charlie was deceased.
So Charlie gets shot right
before
there
he
in the
even
middle.
knew it. How did that happen? If everything was on the up and up. He literally, okay, if we go back and watch the video, if you watch the video where you can see Charlie, because I'm not going to play it on YouTube, he runs before Charlie gets to the ground, right? Charlie gets hit. They actually push Charlie over because Charlie actually leaned back and didn't fall, right? he didn't fall. He got put down by the team. His staff that were surrounding him put him on the ground. They pushed him over and lay him on the ground. While before they had even accomplished that, they pushed Charlie. This guy turned around and ran, and climbed up where I just showed you, right? 100% just climbed up there where I just showed you. So that behavior is part of the reason. And that camera, okay, this camera I just showed you that he removed 10 minutes later. Where is it at? Right? That camera that I showed you, he removed 10 minutes later. That is... Where is it? Sorry, you guys. Right there. Right there. This one. Okay. This camera that he gets into, that same guy, right? The same one. It's this camera. Look how close it was to Charlie. Look where it was positioned. He got into the cameras, the two cameras that would definitively be able to tell us exactly how Charlie Kirk was assassinated with high detail. This is an extremely sophisticated, very expensive, professional, commercial grade camera, right? Probably 8K, probably 4 and 8K, I imagine, right? Super high definition, no graininess at all, no pixelation, and look where it is. It is pointed. It's pointed right at his neck, right at his neck. He's facing directly. He's facing directly outward when he gets hit, and this has it. This camera has that footage. It saw exactly in high detail what happened with Charlie Kirk's shirt and his necklace and his microphone and his neck. This camera is the most critical, I would argue, because the other camera is behind his head, right? Because the other camera is behind his head, I would argue that this camera is the most consequential piece of evidence in the entire case, right? As far as the day of the event, it is the closest front-facing, high-definition camera that was there that day. And here he is, the same guy who ran back there before Charlie Kirk even hit the ground. Here he is removing, or getting into it at least, 10 minutes, 9 minutes after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, when there's a clear perimeter established and there's no threat of anybody stealing anything. Why did he get in this camera? Why? He has no need to. Why did this cop, this USU cop, allow him to get into that camera? Why did this USU cop allow him to get in that camera? Very strange. Very, very strange behavior. So that is what made me skeptic. Those are just a couple of the anomalies. I want to go back. Let's see. Let's go back in time. Okay. So August 25th or August 14th, 2025. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me move this up higher. Okay. August 25th, 2025. We have a quote post here by Harrison Smith. And this quote post says this. So this is 3 weeks exactly almost before Charlie Kirk is assassinated. Harrison Smith posts this. Okay. Here's another anomaly. Quote, I'm not going to name names, but I was told by someone close to Charlie Kirk that Charlie thinks Israel will kill him if he turns against them. Okay. This is a quote post of Ian Carroll reacting to Charlie Kirk avoiding Nick Fuentes on a call. Somehow Nick Fuentes had gotten through the Charlie Kirk show screening process, and Nick was challenging him to a debate, and Charlie pretty much shut him down, right? It wasn't a formal setup. I understand why Charlie shut it down. I understand why Nick tried, because they wouldn't give him the time of day, right? But what Harrison is saying here is that Charlie is avoiding having a conversation with Nick Fuentes because Israel will kill him, right? That is what he's saying here. He's like, the reason why he's avoiding this conversation is because Charlie thinks Israel will kill him if he turns against them. That's the context of this post. Now, by itself, this post is just like hearsay, rumor, gossip, whatever, right? By itself, which is probably why it didn't get a shit ton of attention before what happened next. Okay. Almost 3 weeks later, just before 3 weeks later, Charlie Kirk left the pro-Israel cause. He sent this to a group chat of his most trusted and inner circle, and a group chat full of his Jewish donor emissaries and pro-Israel emissaries. Quote, this is Charlie Kirk. It turns out less than 48 hours before he was assassinated. Quote, just lost another huge Jewish donor. $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Now, remember, they want you to think that he hates Candace. Here he is the day before he was assassinated, saying that he's going to invite Candace as they are bullying him. Ugh, here's someone on his team. Ugh. Quote, Charlie Kirk, Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Okay? This is another huge anomaly, a massive anomaly. This is motive. This is potential motive. I don't know that Israel took him out. I'm not claiming that. But you have to treat this as a homicide, right? And you have to look for incentive and motive in homicides. Motive means method, right? So 3 weeks before, Charlie tells a confidant that he thinks that Israel will kill him if he turns against them. 2.5 weeks later, Charlie Kirk turns against them. And less than 48 hours after this, he's publicly assassinated. That's not anything to smirk at. It is not anti-Semitic. It is not anti-Zionist. It is not anti-Israel. It is not anti-anything to point out the truth. The fact of the matter is that a public figure said that Charlie thought he was going to get killed if he left the pro-Israel cause before it happened. Okay? And then a couple of weeks later, he leaves the pro-Israel cause, and then less than 2 days later, he's dead. He gets killed, assassinated. So it is not hateful to point this out. I want to, right here, you can see the rest of the conversation. I read you that part. Read the rest of it. This is someone within his own staff. Quote, responding to him saying he's leaving the pro-Israel cause. Please don't invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term, in my opinion. Like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing. What an odd thing to say. Almost like you hate the fact that people have free will. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed upon us makes life frustrating at times. After the dust settles a bit, maybe then decide. That is one of his inner team members. Which one do you think that is? Do you think it's Andrew Colvett? Someone actually claimed this. I think I can't remember who it was. Was it Blake Neff or Andrew Colvett who claimed this? So they were pushing him back. You know, I hate to say it. I think that this text message, if a state level actor took him out, this text to his inner circle is probably what ensured that he died within the next 48 hours. 100%. And it's really sad. But that's what it looks like. So I'm not call a spade a spade. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it anymore. So it's just really sad. So there's another anomaly because we weren't allowed to talk about it. And here's another additional anomaly about that. Here's Andrew Colvett trying to recoup some credibility. Is this it? No, that's a different one. We won't go there yet. Here we go. So during the whole Fort Huachuca escapade, right? We had the Fedsloppers were attacking me, Mitch, everybody on the stage pretty much relentlessly, except for Harrison there. Remarkably, I don't have everything against Harrison. He's a good dude. You know, it is what it is. We had a little bit of a spat as a result of this, but Candace Owens held a video space near Christmas this year, and I had the opportunity to talk to Harrison Smith, and I asked him about that threat that he told us about.
Well, here's a good example. Harrison, you posted 2 weeks before Charlie Kirk died that there was a credible threat against his life. Has the FBI reached out to you to ask you about that?
No.
Also,
No.
like, are you going to tell us who that was? It feels like that might be relevant now.
Yeah. So in the absence of a rigorous investigation by the,
If you didn't catch that,
no.
I just asked him if the FBI had reached out to him about him posting that he thought that Charlie Kirk was going to that Israel was going to kill him if he left the cause, right? Seems like it's something that the FBI would want to investigate. So I asked him, did they look into it?
has the FBI reached out to you to ask you about that?
No.
Also,
No.
like, are you going to
No. We're talking about the largest political hit in since JFK. Definitely more visible because we have all those cameras and the internet and all of the news. It definitely was seen by more people, right? And the FBI didn't ask somebody who posted publicly that Charlie Kirk thought that Israel was going to kill him if he left the cause. They never asked him about it. They never questioned him.
tell us who that was? It feels like that might be relevant now.
Yeah. So in the absence of a rigorous investigation by the agency, we are led to lead this investigation. That is why Fort Huachuca is so relevant. But
Fort Huachuca, said it wrong there.
I was going to ask you, thank you, Candace. Can you tell us who told you that? Because
he's
the
dead
FBI
now.
is not asking you.
Yeah, I mean, the person that told me asked me not to say who they were, so I'm not going to give up a source. Sorry.
Okay.
So yeah, I tried to find out who told him that so we could ask them some questions, and he declined, which is fine. As a journalist, I will protect my source too. We have a right to. We're protected by the First Amendment to not disclose our sources. However, the FBI, in a murder investigation, that's notwithstanding, right? So if you have information that if you have knowledge of a murder, right, and you know who the suspect is, you're not protected by the First Amendment. You have to give over that information. You can, plead the Fifth, but that looks bad. So this exchange led to another exchange between Harrison Smith and myself and Candace Owens. Later on, they had a back and forth. I posted this, and he tried to claim that Candace's husband knew who the source was, and they, like I said, they had a little bit of a back and forth there. I don't want to get into that, but that wasn't exactly true. Right? It was a little misleading, but. The funny thing is that the most important thing is that the FBI never reached out to Harrison Smith. Well, after this space and my question, Harrison posted the following day. Let me see. Is that on here? Harrison posted the following day. There they are. Candace and Harrison got into it a little bit there. He posted the following day. I thought I had it up here. Maybe I don't. He posted the following day that they reached out to him and talked to him, and it never went anywhere after that. Imagine that. So yeah, the day after this space and after this post went viral and her space went viral, the FBI reached out to Harrison Smith to ask him about that, and that was the end of that was the end of it. We never, kind of like Penguich, they talked to the owner, and then there was never any follow up. We did hear later on that Joe Kent was cut off from investigating any potential foreign entanglements. That's another anomaly. And here is Andrew Colvett saying that he shared that pro-Israel text message with law enforcement.
I want to take the start of this show to address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was...
He's reading... You'll notice that I'm never reading from a script. Just listen to this guy. He has to, touch up with his talking points before he talks.
Text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And
it is authentic. So you have, and mind you, okay, this is October 7th, I believe. And I'm not saying that out of any other geopolitical sense. It was literally on the show on October 7th.
And I want to go into it because
he's validating the text messages with Candace Owens here, right? He is saying that they're authentic. So that's real. Charlie did send that text saying he was leaving the pro-Israel cause. And
actually am really excited that the truth is out.
He's really excited that the truth is out. That's why in the month after Charlie was assassinated, he didn't share it. She had to. He's really excited, though. That's why he didn't share it.
There. I first want to say the reason I didn't share that screen grab publicly is because it was a private exchange, and I felt like it didn't necessarily comport with things that were already public. I wanted to not betray my friend's trust in that way.
His deceased friend's trust, who was just murdered.
But I did share it with some people in government because...
I did share it with some people in government. When did he share it with them in government? Did he share it with them before Charlie was assassinated? Oh. You think anybody's asked that question? I would really like to know, Andrew Colbert. When did you share that text message? Was it before Charlie Kirk was assassinated? Did you share it with government then? That would be really interesting.
It happened really quick. It was, it took 33 hours for authorities to get their suspect. And in those first moments, we wanted no stone unturned. We wanted to leave nothing unturned. So I shared it with a few people. Don't know where it went from there, apparently. But here we are. So
is he compelling? You find him to be selling you the truth? These people are just not good at it.
Blake, that I'm glad to have this now public.
I'm really glad to have this now public. Look at Blakey Poo. He looks really happy to have it public, doesn't he? Look. Oh man, I'm gonna screenshot this. This is memeable. Let's save this one. This is good. Really, he looks really happy that they made this I'm leaving the pro-Israel cause message public. Doesn't he look thrilled? They look super. Look at that. He looks super thrilled right now. Oh, fuck.
It was not mine to share publicly, but one of the criticisms we've received is that we don't care. We're not investigating every lead. We're not looking under every stone, and that somehow we're just like, sweeping things under the rug.
Can't imagine why people would think that you're sweeping things under the rug. Can't imagine. You've been so transparent. Candace had to leak this, and they have attacked her relentlessly ever since. Right? Remember when Candace first started covering this, she was being very friendly towards these guys. They were all on good terms still. They were having a back and forth. They were exchanging information. She was being candid with them. She thought they were being candid with her. And after she dropped these text messages, especially, everything changed. Yeah, let's just watch it one more time through. I want it to sink in. He shared those text messages with the government, but he doesn't tell you when.
I want to take the start of this show to address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there. I first want to say the reason I didn't share that screen grab publicly is because it was a private exchange, and I felt like it didn't necessarily comport with things that were already public. I wanted to not betray my friend's trust in that way. But I did share it with some people in government because it happened really quick. It was, it took 33 hours for authorities to get their suspect. And in those first moments, we wanted no stone unturned. We wanted to leave nothing unturned. So I shared it with a few people. Don't know where it went from there, apparently. But here we are.
Shared it with a few people. Don't know where it went from there, apparently. But here we are. Later, we find out that Joe Kent was one of the alleged recipients. But he doesn't say that he gave it to Joe Kent. He just accused or alluded that Joe Kent leaked it after he shared it. We don't know if that's the case. They were mad that Candace Owens ended up with it. Let's continue. And I'm sorry, I realize you guys in the space can't hear the side of it. Just go listen on YouTube if you want to hear all of it. We can start talking in a minute, but I want to get through this. So that was one anomaly. Here was another thing that, well, we could just do this quick one. How many plainclothes officers were at UVU that day? This is when George Zinn, this is literally, okay? This is literally, they arrested him and walked him off within 3 minutes of the assassination. 3 minutes. You'll notice this kid looks young, right? This is actually like a military shirt. I noticed. I ended up looking it up later. This is one of the uniformed arresting officers. These are 2 undercover cops, okay, that walk in with Zinn after he's arrested. This is 2 minutes after Charlie shot. Zinn immediately took blame. You can see he's still got his pants up. This is how fresh it is after Charlie Kirk is assassinated. He still has his pants up. They haven't searched him. They're just figuring out what's going on. He just took responsibility for assassinating Charlie Kirk. And one of the people next to him is a plainclothes cop. Right there. That is a pistol that he has his finger over the trigger guard and his thumb over the receiver. Right? That is the way that you handle a firearm. There were, I cannot tell you, I think maybe dozens of undercovers that were in the crowd that day. I've never seen anything like it. I've been to so many Trump rallies. I've been to 2 Charlie Kirk events in TPUSA. Both of them, well, I think at least one of them, no, maybe both of them, Trump attended. So the security was incredibly high, right? And I have never seen this many plainclothes. I've been to dozens of Trump rallies. I've never seen this many plainclothes undercovers ever. Never seen anything like it. They were all over. That was another anomaly I wanted to note real quick. But where is it? Okay, so there's that one. Let's go to when Erika Kirk started to come on my radar. It was some of the statements that she was giving. You guys remember? She said that she had never dated. Is this it? Oh, that's so despicable what I'm about to show everybody. I don't think I have the clip right here of her, but she said during an interview that it was during the CBS town hall that she had not dated anybody 5 years previous of Charlie Kirk. And I had, just from all of the like intake of information that I had, I knew that was false, right? She told us that she had not dated anybody within 5 years of dating Charlie Kirk. Well, then what's this? I found this on the Wayback Machine through my research. She dated Shabbat Phillips in 2017. This was the year before Charlie Kirk met her. The year before. What does that say? Quote, I'm quoting Shabbat Phillips here. Shabbat Phillips. Yes, we're that couple who gets painting lessons together. Oh, they look so happy. What's that name down there? Oh, Erika Kirk. She's tagged in it. When I tried to look for these posts, because this is a archived version of Twitter, like the old Twitter, before they made it you couldn't do this anymore. These were all scrubbed. All of these posts were deleted. You find replies to them, then you scroll up, and they called them orphaned replies. So this was a lie. She dated Shabbat Phillips the year before she dated Charlie Kirk. So she went on CBS and told everybody she hadn't dated anybody for 5 years. And here she is dating somebody. But what's even more interesting than that is that she scheduled her ex-boyfriend to speak in Charlie's place and even had the title How to Lead Like Charlie. Isn't that odd? I mean, we're talking about 2.5 months, 3 months after he's publicly assassinated, and you're already putting your ex-boyfriend in to speak in his place? That's odd. Is that normal? Weird behavior. There's a lot of weird behavior from the people who surrounded Charlie Kirk in the moments and in the months after his death. And that is when I saw her lie, that is when she became really, really high up on my radar. Here she's doing it again. I actually did a search in December. This is around the same time. She's up there saying, this is the Shabbat Shalom.
Door, drop his bags, daddy's home, take his phone, Friday night, Shabbat Shalom, throw it in the junk drawer, and it was just all us.
It is so like ridiculous. She's tapping her face. She's not crying, but she's got the tear or the tissue or whatever.
And that's what I always want.
Look, she's not even wiping her. Look. She's tapping the front of her nose. There's not even any water. Look. I'm not trying to be mean here. Okay. I'm not trying to be mean, but Charlie Kirk's last dying statement was that he was leaving the pro-Israel cause. And here is his widow.
He would walk through the door, drop his bags, daddy's home, take his phone, Friday night, Shabbat Shalom.
Take his phone, Friday night, Shabbat Shalom. I'm leaving the pro-Israel cause. I'm tired of being bullied by these Jews. Shabbat Shalom, motherfuckers. Crazy, bro. Crazy. Another anomaly. This dude was, I feel really bad for him. I feel really, really bad for Charlie Kirk. This is not how it should be. Here's another anomaly involving Erika
he was
Kirk.
not
Okay. This is another one that stuck out to me. So in homicide investigations, the first thing that they do is they take the victim's phone and they take the suspect's phone every time. Okay. This is without cause. Look it up. Okay. They look for evidence of threats, potential homicide, motive from people that were around him, etc. Right? Maybe he was feuding with somebody privately. Maybe he was getting threats to his phone. The FBI never took his phone. Another huge anomaly. The same way that they never followed up on the Harrison Smith lead. The same way that they never followed up on the Panguitch lead. We'll get to that in a minute.
But he was not messaging people the day before saying, I'm going to be murdered. They're coming after me. Someone's going to kill me.
How do you know that? If you weren't with him the day before, and she wasn't, how does she know that people weren't threatening him or texting him? How does she know that? Oh.
He didn't say that. And I have his cell phone.
And what? And what?
Cell phone.
What's that?
And I have his cell phone. And I have his cell phone. And I have his cell phone.
And she has his cell phone. Why? Doesn't that seem important to a capital homicide investigation? Would be the victim's cell phone? Why does she have his cell phone? How did she get his cell phone? She wasn't with him. She was in Arizona. How did she get his cell phone? Why doesn't the court have that cell phone as submitted evidence? Why does she have it? Another anomaly. You're saying, oh, well, you're not allowed to talk about the widow. Well, why is the widow so involved with the case? She has a key piece of evidence. I'm not making this up. I didn't tell her to say it. She's saying it. She has homicide evidence. The same way Terryl Farnsworth had homicide evidence when he took the SD cards. Why does his people have all of the most important evidence? The two closest pieces of video footage. His cell phone. This is the most critical evidence in the case. Why? That makes no sense. That is a huge red flag. Huge red flag. So that's another anomaly. Where am I at now? There's me getting threatened. All right. Here's somebody, right, threatening me around the same time I'm covering all of this. A former, and I didn't out their name. I did show the post though. This is a conservative influencer, a bigger account, who messaged me in the DMs as I'm in the midst of my investigation. Quote, this is earlier in the conversation. He's like, why are you being so hard on TPUSA? I'm saying they are not answering questions. They're being nasty instead. Quote, TPUSA refuses to answer your questions about Charlie Kirk's assassination. You and I are a dime a dozen. TP doesn't owe either of us jack shit. I said that works both ways. They can stonewall, and I will report like I am, and I don't owe them shit either. It doesn't work both ways, though. Neither of us had the influence or reputation of TPUSA. It's a free country, though. Do as you wish. Let's see. Do as you wish, but I assure you it won't end well. Now, at this time, I'm not even talking about Israel at all, right? When this happened, I was actually shutting down that conversation during my spaces, much to the dismay of individuals like that girl Casey and Morgan and other individuals who follow me, right? I would shut this conversation down because I thought it was a targeted attack. Here we are, right? And a conservative influencer is telling me that it won't end well. I left here for a year and a half, and most of the people who took the same approach over the 10/7 attack on Israel aren't around anymore. What does he mean by that? By not around anymore? Like they vanished? They got deleted? They got suspended? They got offed? What does he mean by that? It won't end well. And the people who ask questions about 10/7, then they're not around anymore. Asking questions is one thing. Pushing conspiratorial nonsense is another. And I just said I'm going to report like I am, which is objectively, like I'm going to be digging into it. So, yeah, just another little tidbit of anomaly. I didn't know if he was a Zionist, but apparently he is. I didn't even know like how embedded Zionism was in the conservative movement when we had that conversation. I just noted it as a anomaly. Let's see. The Mitch Snow thing, we looked into that. There's another one. There's the phone. Here's Jack Posobiec, who works for TPUSA. Just another example of the shit that they do. Jack Posobiec took video or screenshots of Tyler Robinson's brother. You can see that it's not him. None of these are Tyler Robinson. What he did is he redacted the face of Tyler Robinson's brother, and he told people that this was Tyler Robinson shooting guns and that he is a killer, right? He is using his platform to lie to the American people and to potential jurors about if Tyler Robinson was a gun guy, right? These are not the actions of somebody confident that Tyler Robinson is the killer. These are the actions of somebody who wants to convince you that Tyler Robinson is the killer. Another anomaly, because Jack Posobiec, as you can see, is a TPUSA affiliate. It's right there. It's a badge right on his page. Okay. What does that say? Turning Point Action. So this is a badged associate of TPUSA who is lying, using doctored images and claiming that they are Tyler Robinson. They used me to, I'll take credit for this. They used my post of the truth to community note his ass. Another anomaly, though. You have TPUSA representatives lying to the American public, just like they did at the hearing, right? Actually doctoring images this time to convince people that Tyler Robinson committed this crime. When this is a lie, it's a provably false lie, and there's the proof, right? You saw it. There's the real images. It's his brother. It's his younger brother. Tyler wasn't a big hunter. He's more of a fisherman. But they just want to convince you that he's guilty by fabricating evidence. This is the theme of the entire thing. The entire Fedslop narrative is like this. They want to tell you that Candace Owens hated him and he hated her. Well, does this give you and I don't know if this, I might get hit for this song. And if I do, it's like, oh, well, I'll fix it. I don't care, really. I just want to show you, this is another anomaly. This is months and months and months of TPUSA telling you that these two hated each other. Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens hated each other, and that she's a liar, she's a demon, she's a witch. Well, let's look at how Charlie felt about her.
Don't understand like the divinity of him.
I can tell you that I don't dance like that with people I don't like. I've never danced like that with somebody I don't like, ever.
That like
I'm living in the
Charlie
21st
dance.
century. There's something mean to it. We can, I'm about to have some
singing together. These are not the actions of people that hate each other. These are the actions of friends who love each other. Everything that they say, everything that they do is a lie. It is all provably false information.
For the record, I don't look at people in terms of skin color, but when they start categorizing me and the young men that show up to my events as toxic because they breathe, you force the race card.
It's crazy to me. Crazy to me. They're obviously close friends. She proved it, right? They kept saying she was a liar all the way up until the end. Said they hadn't talked to years. She hated Charlie. He despised her. There it is. I was trying to show that earlier. Here is. Look at this. Okay. I want you to look at the date on this. That is Erika Kirk's ex-boyfriend. Look at the date on this and look where it is. This is 10/6/25. They already have flyers printed up for him to speak in Charlie's place. How to lead like Charlie. October 6th, 2025 at Southern Arizona University. This is her ex-boyfriend. Erika Kirk's ex-boyfriend spoke in Charlie's place in Arizona less than a month after he was assassinated. You don't think that's weird? A little weird to me. A lot of weirdness going on here. Like, why are they so weird? Is it my fault that you're doing some weird ass shit like this? Is it Candace's fault that you're doing weird shit like this, that you're scheduling your ex-boyfriend to speak in your husband, your just assassinated husband's place just less than a few weeks after he's gone? Very strange behavior. Very strange behavior. You try to tell us that you didn't date anybody. Turns out you did. Lied. And then not only did you date him and you lied about it, but you also scheduled him to speak in your state weeks later. Very strange behavior. Very strange behavior. It's not my fault that you are doing so much weird shit. Okay? That's your own fault. This is not Candace Owens' fault. This is another anomaly. This is another behavior that draws suspicion. Okay? Because it is not normal. I don't care what you say. You're never going to convince me that it is normal for a grieving widow to lie about her dating history and then schedule the guy that she lied about to speak in her home state not even a month later after the assassination. Not even a month later. I just want you to think about it. Look at this is scheduled, right? This is scheduled. Remember how Candace told you that they plan these things like weeks ahead. Like it's very not impromptu, right? They book these way ahead. It takes a lot of preparation. Look, they printed these out. They had QR codes ready, these flyers ready. This is a woman, and shout out to her. She DM'd me this. She said, I didn't even realize it. When I posted about Cabot Phillips being her ex-boyfriend, I broke that story, right? When I found it on the Wayback Machine. She said, I didn't even realize I went to this event with him speaking in Arizona, and that was who he was. All of Charlie Kirk's supporters went to this not knowing that this was Erika Kirk's ex-boyfriend, and they didn't want us to know. Another anomaly. Another suspicious anomaly that you can't blame anybody else but yourself for. These are all on my ex profile. I think I'm going to go through it. I'm going to repost these. I'll quote post them all so they're fresh. I'll do that tonight. Because I think we need to revisit why we're all where we're at with our skepticism. It is not because of Candace Owens. It is not because of Baron Coleman, right? It is not because of Democrats. It is because of these people and their behavior. It's no one else's fault. It's not because of Zionists. It's not because of Palestinians. It's not because of anti-Zionists, right? It is because the people surrounding Charlie Kirk were acting very, very weird after he died. They're the one that drew our suspicion, starting with Terryl Farnsworth, and then it goes on and on and on and on, right? Just keeps going. Let's see here. Moving on. Oh, the murder tents. Oh, I forgot. How could I forget about the murder tents? Probably going to get hit on YouTube for that, but I don't care. So, you know, we had AmFest, which I went to the previous year as a special guest, and I paid for the VIP and all that stuff, and it was a waste of money. Like I had declined to do it again afterwards. I'm not going to give them my money, but they set up the same tent, and this is so morbid and just blasphemous to do, if you ask me. In my opinion, I made this. This is at AmFest, which we'll get into in a minute because this wasn't the only thing that they did. I said, make sure to pick up your merch on the way by after getting your selfie at the TPUSA AmFest Charlie Kirk murder tents, which, you know, they had people, influencers doing selfies and just really, really just gross, dude. Just gross. But yeah, they have the Freedom shirt merch and the other merch you can grab as you leave there. But yeah, we're the bad ones. We are the evil people. This behavior is okay. We're just not supposed to notice, right? Oh, remember when Governor Cox told us that Tyler Robinson changed on the roof? Remember? He changed his clothes like 4 times that day, and they had to explain it. Well, how did he get on the roof and change his clothes after he jumped down? Like, he ran off the roof in a different set of clothing that he went up to the roof on. But how did that happen?
Yes. So when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on, and then he changes clothing on the roof, and then changed back into that clothing at some point, so that when he was apprehended, when he was arrested, the clothing matched the clothing he had on before.
If you're having a hard time following, that is because it's bullshit. And by the way, for the record, AmFest and TPUS, they didn't call it a murder tent. That is my own moniker. I have designated it that. In my opinion, that's what it is, since he was murdered in that tent, or in a similar tent.
Or the
so it wasn't the exact tent, just for journalistic accuracy. It was a mockery of the tent. Still is gross nonetheless. But if you're wondering why you can't understand the bullshit that Governor Cox is spewing right now, that is because it's bullshit.
Yes. So when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on.
So when he's first spotted on campus, he's wearing one set of clothes.
And then he changes clothing on the roof.
He changes clothing on the roof. Did you guys see that? When did he change clothing on the roof? I never saw that. We've seen all the footage now. Did you guys see him change clothes on the roof? Blake Neff swears that there is footage that you can deduce he changed clothes on the roof. What do you mean that you can deduce? What does he mean by that? Oh, does that mean that in order to come to that conclusion, you have to deduce because you don't see him change clothes on the roof? Is that why Blakey Poo? Blakey Poo is one of my favorites. He loves speaking to me in spaces. I cause amnesia. Don't ever speak to me on spaces, guys. Okay. Surgeon General's warning. Diligent. The double D is known to give people amnesia and memory problems, immediately afterwards. So anyways, another anomaly. He changed clothes 3 or 4 times that day. But
and then changed back into that clothing at some point, so that when he was
there's good old Cash App Patel behind him as he's saying this shit. Do you think that he's making this up as he goes along, or he's got like a talking point that he has to give here?
Yes. So when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on.
So when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on.
And then he changes clothing on the roof.
And then he changes clothing on the roof.
And then changed back into that clothing at some point, so that when he was
and then changed back into that clothing at some point.
When he was apprehended. When
he was apprehended, he's back in the original clothes that we saw him with earlier that day. If you didn't catch that, so what they're alleging is that he showed up in the old clothes, and then changed, and then went up on the roof, and then changed again, and then left. And then changed one more time back into the first set of clothes. So that way, when they picked him up, he still had the original set at the beginning. Just say, if you're having a hard time following along with that massive bit of word salad. Another anomaly. Okay, another anomaly in the case. Okay, let's see. I shared that one. Sorry, you guys. Oh, this one. Did we all forget this one? Let's not forget how much J.D. Vance played a role in this case. I think we would be remiss to not share how much of a role J.D. Vance played in this case. J.D. Vance has a very interesting history. He's changed his name twice. His name is a third version. He quit Yale, or not quit Yale. He departed Yale and went with somebody he met at Yale who happened to be named Peter Thiel, and went to San Francisco with Peter Thiel, who I allegedly may or not be a homo. And through his own admission, at one point or time, Mr. JD here also thought that he may or may not be a homo. But his grandma prayed away the gay, according to him. I'm not buying it, but, it's his story. What's interesting about Peter Thiel is that he's the founder of Palantir. And Palantir was founded by the CIA. In-Q-Tel, it's called. It's their 3-letter agency venture capital firm. Palantir essentially was the total information awareness project that DARPA and the CIA wanted to launch in the wake of 9/11. Congress said no, and it went underground and became a private corporation. And this guy is the founder of Palantir's protege. He got control of a $10 million venture capital firm after he left college under Peter Thiel. J.D. Vance did. And then he became a senator. The largest single Senate contribution ever donated by an investor was J.D. Vance in U.S. history. $10 million for a single Senate seat in Ohio. That is how J.D. Vance came to prominence. Okay, he crafted a book that got help push. He got his start with Peter Thiel, and I mean he's essentially just a completely created thing from the deep state, in my opinion. Yeah, I wasn't happy when Trump picked him as a, and this is before I was even critical of the administration. I was not happy when they picked J.D. Vance as a vice president pick, which was just after he was shot, by the way. He hadn't picked anybody, and then he got shot in Butler, and then all of a sudden J.D. Vance is his VP. And so you can do what you want with that, but it could be related. So, this maybe it's all just a coincidence, but that is what I just told you is factually accurate about the history anyways. The day after, 2 days after, when did I post this? 5 days. 5 days after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, J.D. Vance, after escorting his body, which was immediately moved. A homicide victim's body was immediately moved out of state. And I can see, you know, you can make an argument for the family and all that, but this is still a murder investigation. 5 days later, look who was hosting the Charlie Kirk show. I'll read my old post, another anomaly. Just 5 days after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, J.D. Vance hosted a full production, 2-hour-long Charlie Kirk show with Stephen Miller, declaring that the quote-unquote far left had caused the assassination. So they were already, this is the government. If you don't know who the government is, J.D. Vance is a part of the executive branch. This is the government. And I just told you his history. Okay. Stephen Miller, he is also government. He's a part of the government. They're sitting on Charlie Kirk's show telling you they know who killed Charlie Kirk. So let me read the rest of my caption. At the time, suspect Tyler Robinson had only been in custody for 1 day. How did J.D. Vance and Stephen Miller already know the motive and who all was involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination, despite the investigation just getting underway? Since when did the vice president or presidential advisors play any role in our Department of Justice? This is when, like, the vice president, they went on this whole, like, they're going to look into everybody's finances thing. It got really weird. Very, very Orwellian, really fast. Since Nixon was impeached and resigned. Where was I? Oh, there we go. Okay. This is unprecedented. What agencies did they use to do that? Was it the U.S. Treasury? Oh, yeah. So here I am. I'm like, Vice President Vance and Miller vowed to take down organized campaigns, including NGO financial networks that led to Charlie's death. Now they're blaming it on the NGOs. Never let a crisis go to waste, right? This is unprecedented. You know, did they use the Treasury? Did they use the IRS? What authorities is J.D. Vance using right now as vice president that allows him to play a role with the FBI or other financial agencies? This is a legitimate question. The DOJ, I know that we can't tell because the Biden administration weaponized it. The Trump administration's weaponized it. The DOJ and the FBI are supposed to be independent of politics. They're not supposed to be political. They've gotten political. They're not supposed to be. So I immediately, now I've lost sound on both.
You were buffering on YouTube for a second.
Is it good now? Can you guys hear me on YouTube?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I don't know. They keep getting me. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm sorry, you guys. Sorry. So everything that's come out, it's time to revisit and take a very close look at what happened in the first few days after Charlie Kirk's assassination. That's what we've been doing. Let's listen to what J.D. Vance had to say.
Welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show. This is Vice President J.D. Vance. Joining me now is Stephen Miller, White House Deputy Chief of Staff, dear friend of mine and dear friend of Charlie Kirk's. And before I get into the nitty-gritty of what I wanted to talk with Stephen about, you know, there's a lot of questions about the investigation, where we are in the investigation. I want to be respectful to the FBI's process, but just know that we are on top of this.
You can't hear the video?
Yeah.
I don't know what's let me see.
In the entire administration.
It's registering. It's gotta be YouTube. Yeah, I can see I'm dropping viewers. He has prettier eyes than Erika. I can hear you though. I can hear the video. They're saying they can hear.
Is trying to do
I'm saying they might be able to hear the video now in YouTube, but we couldn't hear it when you were playing it. There's a few things happening. You buffered here, and then you buffered there.
Okay, we'll deal with it later. I don't want to deal with it now.
Right, you're just catching up in chat. That's part of it.
All right, friend of Charlie. I just want you to listen to what he says. He says he's not going to interfere with the FBI's investigation, but he's going to interfere with the investigation.
Welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show.
You don't think it's a little weird that the vice president is hosting a NGO's show or a Charlie Kirk show the day after he's dead?
This is Vice President J.D. Vance.
I think a
Joining
lot
me
of us forgot
now
about
is
this.
Stephen Miller, White House Deputy Chief of Staff, dear friend of mine and dear friend of Charlie Kirk's. And before I get into the nitty-gritty of what I wanted to talk with Stephen about, you know, there's a lot of questions about the investigation, where we are in the investigation. I want to be respectful to the FBI's process, but just know that we are.
I want to be respectful to the FBI's process, but
on top of this, and the entire administration is trying to do as much as possible to find everything that we can about what led to this, about how we got here, and of course, ultimately, how an assassin took Charlie's life. I wanted to zoom out with Stephen a little bit and talk about all of the ways that we're trying to figure out how to prevent this festering violence that you see on the far left from becoming even more and more mainstream.
the far left. You remember they tried to immediately pin it on the far left? The far left, over and over and over. Remember Jack Posobiec saying, I saw a leftist kill Charlie Kirk? Over and over and over and over and over. Just trying to convince us of that. Now we find out Tyler Robinson isn't a leftist at all. At all. I don't even think Lance Twiggs is.
And a lot of people are very worried about how we got here in the first place. And you have the crazies on the far left who are saying, oh, Stephen Miller and J.D. Vance, they're going to go after constitutionally protected speech. No, we're going to go after the NGO network that foments, facilitates, and engages in violence. That's not okay. Violence is not okay in our system, and we want to make it less likely that that happens. Walk me through, at a high level, like what you and I have been working on, what the whole administration has been working on to try to make sure that we don't reward and promote this craziness.
Yes, so it's an excellent question. I said this before, and but it bears repeating. The last message that Charlie sent me was, I think it was just the day before we lost him.
For the record, here's another person talking about the text messages the day before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, which was the very same day that Charlie Kirk declared he was leaving the pro-Israel cause. Stephen Miller is going to tell you a little different story.
Which is that we need to have an organized strategy to go after the left-wing organizations that are promoting violence in this country.
What? You need to have an organized action to go after left-wing violence? That's what he said? He didn't say he was leaving the pro-Israel cause? That's weird, Stephen.
And I will write those words onto my heart and I will carry them out.
Does he sound or look particularly convincing right there? That sounds like he's making it up.
Make sure that we don't reward and promote this craziness.
Yes, so it's an excellent question. I said
just watch his body language.
This before, and but it bears repeating. The last message that Charlie sent me was, I think it was just the day before we lost him, which is that we need to have an organized strategy to go after the left-wing organizations that are promoting violence in this country. And I will write those words onto my heart and I will carry them out. The people ask,
and I will write those words onto my heart and I will carry them out. Do you believe him that was the last text message that Charlie sent? I'd like to see that text message.
Me, what emotions I'm feeling right now. This is something people say. I mean, you kind of know the answer. There's incredible sadness, but there's incredible anger.
Incredible sadness.
And the thing about anger is that unfocused anger or blind rage is not a productive emotion.
Right.
But focused anger, righteous anger, directed for a just cause is one of the most important agents of change in human history.
Charlie showed that. Amen.
And we are going to channel all of the anger that we have over the organized campaign that led to this assassination to uproot and dismantle these terrorist networks. So let me explain a little bit what that means.
So you'll notice what word he just used. He just called Americans terrorists, right? When he's calling the NGOs, he's calling them terrorists. The vernacular is very important here. It's dissent. Anytime that the government calls a citizen a terrorist, They are an enemy of the state. Biden used to call us terrorists. Do you remember? When Biden was in office and he stood in front of the black podium and he had the black and the red behind him and the Marines in the background, and he had his hands out in the air and he angrily said, half of the country are domestic terrorists. They're terrorists. Extremists. They're labeling you enemies of the state. Here is Stephen Miller using Charlie Kirk's assassination to declare the other half of the country domestic terrorists and enemies of the state.
Got 30 seconds, so be quick, Stephen.
The organized doxing campaigns, the organized riots, the organized street violence, the organized campaigns of dehumanization, vilification,
You'll notice that these are the same tactics that are happening to us right now. People who are dissenting. But he just said that they're going after, right, are what they're doing to us for investigating this homicide.
Networks. So let me explain a little bit what that means. So,
got 30 seconds.
We just exposed a doxing network on X. Went viral. That's a doxing network. That is an organized group of individuals working together to identify anonymous users and share their private information and terrorize them.
So be quick, Stephen.
The organized doxing campaigns, the organized riots, the organized street violence, the organized campaigns of dehumanization, vilification, posting people's addresses, combining that with
posting people's addresses,
messaging that's designed to trigger, incite violence, and
combined with messaging that's supposed to trigger and incite violence, like calling someone demonic, like calling them evil, saying they have to be vanquished. Is that kind of like what he's talking about? Another anomaly.
Actual organized cells that carry out and facilitate the violence. It is a vast domestic terror movement.
Vast domestic terror movement.
And with God as my witness, we are going to use every resource we have at the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, and throughout this government to identify, disrupt, dismantle, and destroy these networks and make America safe again for the American people. It will happen, and we will do it in Charlie's name.
And we will do it in Charlie's name.
Welcome back to the Charlie Kirk.
Righteous of them. How good of them. How good of them. All right, where are we at? I did the JD Vance bits. Oh, here's another one. I'll get old Erika. This is at Amfest in her glitter suit. She had a little bit of a language snafu here.
He deeply mattered on a multitude of levels, so much so that it proved even more once he was assassinated.
What was that? He deeply mattered on a multiple levels, so much more once he was assassinated. Once, not after, once. That means that once means anticipated, right? That means that you're anticipating for an event to occur. Once that event occurs, then the following happens. Once it happens, that's anticipation. Man, lots of Freudian slips out of the people around Charlie Kirk. Another anomaly by someone close to him. Really weird. Candace Owens didn't say that. Erika Kirk said that. Let's continue. Where are we at? Let me see. Okay. Now, this isn't one that I haven't covered too much. It is this video. I couldn't believe why I hadn't seen it. Okay. This video that goes down to where owned by USA Today video. Right. This is theirs. This original video only had like 3 likes and 200 views. It had completely slipped under the radar. This guy, this journalist, and he responded when I posted it. And I did credit them in the replies. The original guys, not somebody on X. They were mad at me because, I don't know, they were trying to say I wasn't crediting them. These guys did, and he acknowledged it. So, whatever. Anyways, this is the day after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Now, I want you to remember, the official narrative is that Tyler Robinson assassinated Charlie Kirk, left south of the city, hung out close to Orem for hours, right? Texted Lance Twiggs around 11 p.m. He was still in Orem. In between 11 and midnight, we know for sure, according to the text messages. He was still in Orem, and he was waiting for the cops to leave so that he could come back and get the gun. The cops apparently never left, according to him, and he ended up going back home, right? Well, we know that he was in Panguitch, or very, very likely to be in Panguitch, making the text messages bullshit. But also, the cops put up the crime scene tape the night before. They remember when they posted the rifle they leaked the photo to New York Post. That's when we all saw the Mauser laying in the box, right? Let me see if I can find it so we can all be on the same page. The Mauser laying in the box was leaked on September the 10th, the evening of September the 10th, by the New York Post. And it's the impossible 30-06, right? No one believes that he was shot with that gun. I don't know anybody that does. There it is. Okay, this is the one. This is the one they're saying did it. This was published on the evening of September the 10th. Okay, and there it is in the grass. And according to the radio, they're saying that the crime scene tape went up, it came back down, and then the following day, they put it back up again, because when this guy's there's no crime scene tape up, and he says that they had been walking around the area unrestricted that whole time.
This construction site has
another anomaly
that I was at earlier that goes down to where the shooting happened. I just spoke to a young man who was working here yesterday. He said his colleague, who was also working here, who was working the excavator right there, spoke, he thinks, to the gunman. He says that a young man came up here, spoke to him, asked him if it was okay to come through the construction site, and that he said, sure, go ahead. And he said that there'd been a shooting and he wanted to get out of there. Now, obviously could have been some other passerby, but according to the young man I spoke to, this all happened long before any of the sirens happened and before they evacuated and that sort of thing. So they think it was the gunman. It also lines.
So what he just said is that Tyler Robinson, or the alleged suspect, okay, ran across the street. There's the school over there to the right. This is over the other side over here, not where he's pointing, but further down is where they said they found the firearm. And the suspect ran through this construction site
earlier
and spoke to two of the workers and asked for permission to walk through, and they allowed him to. So that's two witnesses that put the gunman through the construction site.
Goes down to where the shooting happened. I
want you to pay very close attention to where this is at. I'm going to get it on a map in a minute.
Spoke to a young man who was working here yesterday. He said his colleague, who was also working here, who was working the excavator right there, spoke, he thinks, to the gunman. He says that a young man came up here, spoke to him, asked him if it was okay to come through the construction site, and that he said, sure, go ahead. And he said that there'd been a shooting and he wanted to get out of there. Now, obviously could have been some other passerby, but according to the young man I spoke to, this all happened long before any of the sirens happened and before they evacuated and that sort of thing. So they think it was the gunman. It also lines up with the fact that the evidence trail leads direct.
So he's being very misleading here, and I'll show you why in a minute. He's telling you that somebody ran through here and then went up and talked to the construction people up behind him, where you saw that lift right there. This is a house right here. This is actually, the name of this house is the Constitution Building. Don't quote me on that. Something similar to that. It's next to the Army ROTC building. And then on the other side of it, where he just pointed his finger, is a private residence that a pilot owns, right? Where he's pointing his finger. This is fenced off with tall fence. Okay. No one jumped. No one went through here and then went and talked to those construction officers, right? Those construction workers. They ran up through this parking lot and talked to the construction workers. And why is this important? Because of where they say they found the gun. He's trying to, what this guy's doing, he's laying down narrative, right? He's trying to tell you that the shooter immediately ran across the street. That's where the video ends that we saw of him, right? And then left the evidence trail, according to him, left the evidence trail over here and then up through the woods and went and talked to the construction workers, which is a lie, right? These are multiple fenced off properties. This fence right here is 8 feet tall, right? He's not jumping the fence into the neighbor's backyard and then talking to the construction workers, right? The construction workers are on this property where this house is right here, which is actually a university building. They're on a completely different property. So he went up through here and then talked to the construction workers. He didn't go the way that this guy's saying, but since the firearm was found over there, this guy is trying to make it sound like that was the path. It's a lie. It's inaccurate.
It's directly up into this property. So it seems like they spoke or had contact with him. They said after the police were in this property with the dog, they went into the property next door, which, as the young man I spoke to said, there are only a couple of wooded areas around here. Over here is where apparently the shooter was. You can see.
So this is the corner of the Losi building over here. I want you to notice how he hops around. Okay. It's very important. Ooh, I didn't notice that guy. Who's that standing next to him? Right there. Is that his cameraman? I want to look at that later. I didn't notice that the first time. Thank you.
Over here is where apparently the shooter was. You can see a ladder leading up to the top of that building. So somewhere on the top of that building, presumably, is where the shooter was. Over here.
So I want you to notice how he jumped around. So according to him, he ran through the parking lot down the road. They don't tell you this, how far away it is, right? He said he ran up through this construction site, right? And then they jump. Like, I just want you to watch the flash. The camera flashes. Here's once. There he jumped. He's no longer in the parking lot. Right here. See? Right here, he's at the construction site. See it? And it jumps. He's on the road. And then it jumps again. And he's in the school parking lot even further down. Now, I want you to take note. Okay? This over here is the construction site. Over that way, down across the street, to the left. Okay? And this, right. Okay, there we go. This is the hill. This is the corner of the Losi building. This is where the shooter jumped down. He jumped down here. He ran up over this hill. Okay? And then he walked out to the sidewalk right here. And that is the last place we see him in the video. We don't see which way he runs. According to the Fedslop, he runs this way to the right and disposes of his firearm and then jumps through the backyards and up through the wood, up through the neighborhood, and then he escapes. Right? That's the Fedslop narrative. We see the footage end right here with the shooter. That guy just told us that the shooter went into this parking lot and 2 construction workers ID'd him before the sirens hit. So this is the shooter along the skate path. According to them, after the camera ends, he runs over here, he gets into the parking lot, and then he goes up and he asks the construction workers if he can go through there. When did he drop off the gun? If he disposed the firearm in the woods, when did he do that? Now I want you to notice they have this crime scene taped off, but I want you to listen to what he says.
Found the rifle. Until about 5 minutes ago, this was not shut off at all. This crime.
What'd he say? He said until 5 minutes ago, it was not taped off at all.
area where I'm assuming they found the rifle.
I'm assuming they found the rifle. That was the day before.
Until about 5 minutes ago, this was not shut off at all. This crime scene tape did not exist. I was wandering around. In there. He was wandering around in the crime scene area. There are evidence markers on the ground. I've watched forensic officers from the FBI coming in and out of here with pieces of evidence, and I actually witnessed the trail.
He just admitted to tramping around the crime scene area where they found the firearm unhindered, which means that it's contaminated because it's a crime scene.
Found in there. There are evidence.
And after that, you have, I mean, dude, I'm not, a forensic DNA analyst, but this FBI agent is wiping his sweaty forehead with the hand that he collects the DNA evidence with. Do you think that contaminated it? I'm just curious. Like, is that
markers on the ground?
This is clown world, bro. I just want you to watch him. Watch this FBI agent collecting this this DNA evidence.
This crime scene.
He literally wipes his sweaty forehead with the hand that he's Q-tipping and swabbing the evidence with. And then he drops it in there with the sweaty ass fucking hand.
There are evidence
right there.
Markers on the ground. I've watched forensic officers.
These are just LARPing, bro. I think this is just LARPing.
And I actually witnessed.
Yeah, shout out to the chat. That's all you guys.
The trail that seemed to go up into this area. So they're only just closing it off.
So this is not the construction area. This is to the right. Right? He ran off to the right. And they have this all taped off, but this isn't where the officer was. I want you to pay attention to the light post in the tree.
This crime scene tape did not exist. I was wondering.
Did not exist. Do you see the light post? No. Because now, from this angle, they're way further down away from the construction site. They're down to the right. This is down by the chicken coop. Okay?
There are evidence markers
which is
on the ground.
The opposite direction.
I've watched forensic officers from the FBI coming in and out of here with pieces of evidence, and I actually witnessed the trail that seemed to go up into this area. So they're only just closing it off. Media are milling about. Everybody's kind of wandering around. I guess they're going to shut the road down now, but yeah, it's basically all been open for us.
What did he say? It's all been open for us. When did they tape? Why did they take it down? They found the gun the day before. Why was this not taped off?
Yeah, it's basically all been open for us.
It's basically all been open for us. When?
What have you got there, guys? Can you tell us? Evidence? Is this where they found the gun? I can hear.
We can't answer any questions, but if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to our public affairs officer.
So I asked Will Carlos to message me, and he did. And then I asked him, where he was when he took this video exactly of the DNA guy collecting evidence, and he didn't respond. He responded once, and then he changed his mind. I thought it was kind of interesting. There he is responding. Right. I gave him credit right here. Where'd he go? Did he delete it? He responded. Let me see. Right here. He said, I said the video was made 9/11 alongside the escape path of the Charlie Kirk shooter. The workers at the construction site claimed to have spoken to the gunman. It's the opposite direction and south of the woods where they allegedly found Tyler Robinson's rifle. Here he's saying it's not opposite direction. From what I remember, the video was taken at the top of the rise, the wooded area that the Robinson allegedly fled through. It's a clear line between here and the place where he allegedly shot from, with the rifle being found in between. That's what I recall. That's incorrect. And so I helped him with the map because that's what we do. So here's the path of the gunman. So I just showed you, right? Here's the corner of the Losi building where he jumped off. He ran over the hill. He ran up to the sidewalk, and then the video ends. Well, A, is the parking lot and the area. You can see the building. You can see the house. This is the video where he did the selfie and said that Tyler Robinson left the weapon somewhere in between. Okay. This is where the chicken coop is, and is where they had the crime scene tape up, and where they were not allowing. I'm looking at what they said. We're not allowing anybody there. So they had crime scene tape up here. I just want you to walk you through this. They had crime scene tape up in the wooded area where the chicken coop is. This is the chicken coop right here at the edge of these thin trees where the thick trees are. B is the chicken coop. This is where they found the Mauser. Okay, where B is. B was taped off the night before. Okay, we have video of them having this area crime scene taped off. That is when we got the photo to the New York Post of the boxed 30-06 Mauser, the gray one. And at some point or time, they took the crime scene tape down that night, right? They took it down that evening. We have Barron played us the radio of them instructing officers to go ahead and clear the area. They collect the evidence, and they're taking the crime scene tape down. And then here's the following day, you have this journalist, observing that the crime scene tape was down when they got there. You can see right here, there's no crime scene tape, right? He jumps around a bit, but when he recorded this footage earlier, there's no crime scene tape on September the 11th. And then, miraculously, there is again, for some reason. They decided to make it a crime scene after they had already said it wasn't. So they can go back in and collect more DNA evidence off of their foreheads, apparently. So when I asked him, I said, where? He said, no, he's disagreeing with me. It's not the opposite direction. Well, it sure looks like the fucking opposite direction to me. You can go left or you can go right when you leave the school. You have two paths. Okay. This is all fenced off. This is actually a tall ass hill right here. These houses are up on a hill, a much taller hill. You can see it. This driveway going up the building next to the ROTC where the construction site is. This is actually a hill. So you can either go left or you can go right after you leave UVU. And according to the Fedslop narrative, Tyler took a right and he went over here and he deposited the weapon and then he ran up through these yards and then got to the streets and then went back and got his car and then went and hid. Okay, that's according to the Fedslop narrative. According to this journalist, he went this way and went through this construction site and asked people if he could cross, and they said yes. So if he took a left, and we have two witnesses that say that he went to the construction site, when did he leave the gun? You know, when did he leave this weapon here? At what point did he go back? Are you telling me that he went and left the gun and then backtracked back in front of the school and out in the open and then went to the construction site? That seems unlikely. That seems very risky considering that there was a bunch of people running away and the cops were everywhere and it was all chaos, right? It seems very, very risky to backtrack. It seems like if you were going to go this way and deposit the gun, you would either stay in the woods or you would go through the backyard. It seems like it would be counterintuitive to backtrack on the open street. You can see there's no trees here between the construction site parking lot where they said that he was. There's no way to get away from there, to hide there. He's out in the open and apparently still dressed like the shooter, right? So he went left or right, and this guy didn't answer. There was no response. I I helped him with a map. I said, A is the parking lot of the construction site. B is where they found the rifle. The line is the path, the roof jumper to the road on camera. I've been there a few times now. Will you send me a DM? I did DM him. He said, what's up? I said, can you answer this question? I asked him the same question, sent him the same map, and he declined to respond. So I thought that was interesting. So which way did our shooter go? Did he go drop off the gun, or did he go up to the construction site? Two people at the construction site say he took a left and he didn't take a right. If he didn't take a right, how did the gun get there? Another anomaly. One more anomaly. We have a lot of those. I think I'm almost done. Let me see. I think I've covered the Russell Kennington thing ad nauseum. I was, we'll just look at it again. Where this is the morning after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Russell Kennington's dressed like a doctor. His mom's come on my spaces, said that he was back there taking pictures. He dresses like this because he was going to work. He walks to work, so he was dressed in layers. And she said that he knows nothing about this gun. It's not his gun. He doesn't know why the officer's carrying it. Whatever. This gun is the only rifle we see come from outside the crime scene, and it has a tag on it, like an evidence tag. We never hear anything about this rifle, ever. As far as I know, I'm the only one that won't shut up about it. But you can see it dangling there. You see that white tag? That's either a cleared tag, like the chamber of that weapon is cleared. There's no live round in there that might harm you. Or it's an evidence tag, or both. I'm probably leaning towards both. But it has a shoulder strap right there. You can see the short barrel and the object right there. It has something on the back side, too, hanging along with the shoulder strap, but I don't know what it is. It looks funky from the other side. If you look at the other video, you can't really tell because he's walking away from you. But you can see there, it's got that's the strap hanging down. Right there, you can see the sight, right? That little round thing at the top. I mean, this is clearly a short rifle. This is the only rifle that we see at the crime scene. Even the Mauser is found over across the street. This is the only tagged rifle we see at UVU at the crime scene. It's the only one. And it never gets reported by Officer Black. That's who this guy is, or his compadre. And the court case for Russell's obstruction charge is sealed. So we don't have all the details of that case. And the judge ordered that his phone remain in police custody. So they didn't return his phone. So he said he was back there taking selfies and pictures and reminiscing. We have no way to get that footage because the authorities kept it. So we have no idea what he saw back there or, why this happened the way that it did. Oh, another anomaly with him real quick is that they let him keep a fanny pack, according to his mom. They let his mom keep a fanny pack, which is just, beyond weird. But yeah, this is just, if you need evidence that this, I don't want to get a strike for that. Let me turn the music off. According to his mom, you can see, and you can keep the jokes to yourself. See how the shirt is stretched out? He has something hidden under his clothes. His mom says that's a fanny pack that he keeps his belongings in. Okay. Well, cops don't let you keep fanny packs. They don't let you keep backpacks. They don't let you keep purses. It's against safety policies. And they don't, especially if you're getting in the front seat with them. They search him twice. And they allow him to keep whatever this is hidden under his shirt. You can see it moving there as he walks. And we don't know what it is. He says she says that it is. You can see here, look, just evidence that he is going through his pockets, right? You can't tell me that they're not aware that he has that object there. There he is rifling through his lab coat. Takes his earbud out. Who's he talking to in his earbud? See him pointing? Another anomaly. Who's he talking to? Oh, let me get that for you, sir. I'll just put that in your pocket. Let me put that in your case. Oh, his AirPod case is hanging on his neck. How nice of that officer. He puts it back in the AirPod case. What a good guy. Good guy. Perfectly normal. Perfectly normal behavior. So they wait for the officer to put the gun up. He puts the gun up. They're like, okay, we can go out there now. He's got the gun away. This whole thing looks staged. It's so weird the way they do this. So instead of putting Russell in the back seat, which is what cops normally do when they arrest people, they throw him in the front seat. Although they weren't prepared to throw him in the front seat because the cop, Officer Black, has to clear the front seat out before they can put him in there. And this car, this truck, has no police designation whatsoever. I don't know what's up with the red hoodie. That's a big hood. You could cover your entire head with that. He's all the clothes he's wearing are super baggy. The scrubs are super baggy. Look how big the pant legs are. They're like parachute pants. Everything he's wearing is massive, massively oversized. It makes it easy to obscure things. I would argue, potentially, if you wanted to, if that wasn't a rifle, you could hide it underneath that lab coat. But according to his mom, it's not. I've tried to get him to interview. She acted like he might, and then he's not. Whatever. I think that it would go a long way if he came and talked to us and answered some questions because they're valid questions. This is very strange. This cop notices that this woman who was not supposed to. So another anomaly, before they arrested him, they cleared out the media from this area. Okay. And made everybody leave. And a woman who I interviewed stayed behind and recorded this event. Thank God for her. You'll notice this cop sees that they're being watched. He tells him, and then he moves to block her view of whatever dude's got underneath his clothes. Watch his head. He'll turn and see that she's watching. Right there. He just saw her. And now he's going to let these guys know. You'll see their heads turn to observe her. And he steps over ever so smoothly to block this image. And there he goes. Now he's going to look, and then he's going to say, we got to get out of here. Ah, Russell looked, and he said, we got to get out of here. He does his football player level maneuver. Get in there. And they just let a suspect get into their vehicle, hiding something under his shirt. According to Russell's mother, it's a fanny pack. I would love anybody to give me an example of police allowing a arrested suspect to keep their backpack on them, their fanny pack on them, or their purse on them. It does not happen. But I'm up to being wrong. Just, send me the example. My DMs are open. Okay. So that's another anomaly. A bunch of anomalies with that one. But that's a pretty big one because a rifle left the crime scene, never to be seen again. These are the shooters. I'm just real quick. Oh, well, to follow up with that, here is the witness that I interviewed. They cleared out the media and made them leave the area so that they would not be recorded bringing him out. Okay. They cleared the area and made the media leave. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And how certain are you that the bald officer was carrying a rifle with an evidence tag on it? How certain are you?
1,000,000% sure that he was carrying a rifle with a tag on it.
1,000,000% sure.
Yeah, I saw it with my own eyes.
Yep. And you got it on video. Thank God for that. Thank God. So she was recording with her phone for the chat. And this is the woman. I tracked her down. She posted her video to TikTok. She normally posts thirst traps, but she caught this one and shared it with us. Thank you. And I tracked her down and got her to interview with us and confirmed that that was a gun and that they cleared out the media before they were arresting him. So that whole thing is a huge anomaly, but definitely a gun left the Charlie Kirk crime scene. And we have no evidence of it because they never reported it. Another anomaly, and got buried. Here are witnesses saying that they got shot from a different direction than the Losi building. These are sworn witness affidavits from UVU that day saying that they heard it from a different direction. The event was being held. We got to the event area and made our way down to the front row in the corner of the barricade. So we were right in the front row on the left if you're facing the booth. So they were in the front left corner to Charlie's front right. Okay. We arrived around 11:15. The location, actually just checked my call record so they know what time it is. So now we know where he was at. And right here. Charlie got out about 2 or 3 words when the shot went off. My eyes flicked back behind me and to the right slightly. So they are sitting kitty corner to Charlie Kirk. Okay. So behind them at a diagonal is the direction of like the building that's behind the Woodbury Building. Right? To the right a little bit is the Woodbury Building. So this witness gave a sworn affidavit that the shot came from the direction of the Woodbury Building. But it wasn't just this witness. Okay? There were 3 witnesses that said that they heard the shot come from the direction of the Woodbury Building. I will give you another example. I interviewed a witness when I went to UVU in October, and he also told me that he heard the shot come from the direction of the Woodbury Building, not the Losi Building. Another anomaly, which is, they could be wrong, but one person could be wrong, two people could be wrong, or 3 people could be wrong. 4 people, though? 4 people all hearing the gunshot came from the exact same direction. People who were sitting there in the crowd, that have a good recollection of where they were.
Like that little statue.
Here's a student when I went to UVU in October. Okay? He's going to tell you he's down here by the statue. So he was also sitting to Charlie Kirk's right, about 20 feet away. 15 feet away.
Ignore where you think he was. I was like right. See where like that little statue, little.
Okay.
I was like right in front of that.
So he's saying he's in front of. Let me see if I can get a good view from here. Right there. So he's saying he's about right here, right?
Like that little statue, little.
Okay.
I was like right in front of that.
Okay. So are you facing him like this?
Now. Yep, exactly like that.
So you're facing him like this?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, and then so you hear the.
And then I heard the thing. I looked directly behind me because I'm like, "What the heck? Who's?"
Wait. Which way did you look?
I looked. So I was standing there. I went like that really quick.
So it sounded like it was behind you. Do you see which way he pointed? It wasn't the Losi Building. He pointed to the computer science building. Look at the layout right here. This is really important. When I was up there, and I know this layout intimately now, right? I just gave another podcaster a tour. As a matter of fact, one of the girls that does podcasting was up there, and there was a weirdo kind of creeping on her. So I ended up escorting her around, and I ended up giving her a tour, right? I want you to look at the layout of the computer science building. It is extremely accessible. But not only that, you can get on and off of it and out of there very easily. But that's where he heard the shot.
Behind you. Yeah. It sounded like it was like. So back over here? Yeah. So I thought maybe.
Back over here. So just for the record, okay, when I'm right here, directly behind me, okay, backwards, is the Losi Center. So you have two affidavits from witnesses saying they turned this way when they heard the shot. The guy that we saw that got accosted, who was getting manhandled by Cooper Brown for saying which way he heard the shot come from, he said, I heard the shot. He was sitting directly in front of Charlie, 15 feet in front of Charlie, straight in front of Charlie. He said, I heard the shot. I looked to my left. What is to the left? This. This is like the administration building where the president is, and then behind that is the Woodbury Building. He said he looked to his left, not behind him or to the right, which is where the Losi Center is. He looked to his left, which is where the Woodbury Building is. I've always thought that if the shooter was somewhere else, he'd be over here on the Woodbury Building. So let's listen to him uninterrupted.
Ignore where you think he was. I was like right. See where like that little statue, Okay. I was like right in front of that. Okay. And so are you facing him like this? Muted now. Yep, exactly like that. So you're facing him like this? Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay, and then so you hear the. And then I heard the thing. I looked directly behind me because I'm like, what the heck? Who's? Wait. Which way did you look? I looked. So I was standing there. I went like that really quick. So it sounded like it was behind you. Yeah, it sounded like it was like. So back over here. Yeah. So
back over here, the Woodbury Building.
I thought maybe it came up from like up on.
Look where he's pointing. This is not the direction of the Losi. There were activists up here, protesters up here, right? And he thought maybe it was one of them. Obviously, it wasn't as far as we know. I want you to look. There's a little spot right here. You see where he's pointing? There is a wall. This is the edge of the administration building. This is the edge, or this is the roof of this is the south roof of the Woodbury Building. I've always thought that if the shooter wasn't on the Losi, given all of the witnesses that I spoke to and the ones that we've seen statements from, I think the shooter was over here. And I did an aerial. I walked around this. If you go find my walkthrough on Twitter, I had a body cam. I walked back there. I walked all around this with a video space and showed people.
Right here, there's tons of people in that.
The layout, kind of. You can do an aerial map. So I think that I think that there was multiple means to take Charlie out that day because you cannot have him surviving. So multiple theories of how they did it are plausible, right? It's not, you don't have to limit it to just like a microphone or to Tyler Robinson or another shooter somewhere else, right? It could be multiple different things. I think that if there was a shooter, and I do think there was a shooter, I think that he's up on this roof of the Woodbury
So I was
Building.
like, who the heck is like lighting fireworks or something?
And again, all of them described the sound as not as a rifle or a loud gunshot, but as a firework.
Fireworks or something.
You hear the end?
Not terrorists. So I was like, who the heck is like lighting fireworks?
Who the heck is lighting fireworks? That, ladies and gentlemen, suggests a suppressor, right? That firearm was suppressed. And so it wasn't a loud rifle crack. It was more of a suppressed snap, which is how the guy who got accosted by Cooper Brown, he described it as a large piece of wood snapping in the woods, like a large snap. All of the witnesses that I talked to that were there described it as a firework more than a gunshot, as a loud firework, not quite as loud as a gunshot. So there's another anomaly, couple of anomalies there. And I think I'm about done. Let's see. The Panguitch. Okay, we'll finish with Panguitch. This is the biggest one. So, according to the text messages, Tyler Robinson is in Orem between 11 p.m. and midnight on September the 10th. Okay? That's what the text messages say. They start at 11, and they place him there for an hour until midnight. Then he meets the cop, allegedly. A tip got sent in to Candace that said that Tyler Robinson went to Cowboys Smokehouse in Panguitch, Utah, which is 3 hours away. Okay, 2 hours and 57 minutes. This is UCU Center. I had the wrong one in this map. Make sure I get the right map here. That's not it. It's not UVU. It is 2 hours and 59 minutes. But anyways, it's 3 hours away. It doesn't matter, even with that. So it's way down here, down the mountains. Okay, and then you actually have to drive around through mountains to get to Panguitch and leave Panguitch and get back on the highway. So they're saying that he stayed in this area, started texting Lance at 11 p.m., and those text messages placed Tyler definitively in Orem, watching the cops, waiting to go back and retrieve his rifle, allegedly, between midnight and 11 p.m. and midnight. And, according to those texts, he had been waiting there for 3 hours. And it was going to be a while before he could leave. Well, the only problem with that is that there's a witness who 100% positively IDs Tyler Robinson 3 hours away at 10:47 p.m. How can he be in Panguitch and in Orem at the same time? That's a problem.
I'm here interviewing one of the employees that met Tyler Robinson on the night of September the 10th around 9 p.m. Here.
Did I, is that the full one? I feel like that's not the full one. No, that's not the full one. That's the first one I did. I want the full one with the receipt. Let me go find it. Yeah. I want the full one with the receipt because that is there's the receipt. Full edited. There we go.
One of the employees that met, who they say it was Tyler Robinson, on the night of September the 10th, around 9 p.m. here at...
Let me just say this. The Fedslop and the Zionists attacked me so hard over this. Like, it was crazy. Massive accounts I've never engaged with, all attacking me, lying.
Cowboys.
I mean, this guy is in his uniform. Right, there's his apron. There's the straws. He's in his work shirt. We're obviously in Cowboys.
Smokehouse in Panguitch,
Tried
Utah.
saying I made it up, paid some
So
guy.
how long
all
have
kind
you
of
worked
shit.
at Cowboys?
I've been here about a year and a half now.
A year and a half now?
Yep.
And were you here on the night, were you working on the night of September?
Yes, I was working here. I remembered him coming in, sitting at the bar. He ordered a steak, a couple beers.
Did he sit at the end of the bar?
Close to the end, second seat in. I wasn't the waiter who was taking his order and everything, but I did have a couple interactions with him just trying to help out. And yeah, I heard his voice and it was unforgettable.
I heard his voice and it was unforgettable. That's key. Right? Tyler has a very distinct voice.
Unforgettable. And were you also the one that called it in to Candace?
Yes, I did send in the tip. Everything after I'd notified my boss, we reached out to the authorities. He contacted the FBI. They got our contact information, but we never heard anything from them.
You never heard back from the FBI? Another anomaly. He served Tyler Robinson on September the 10th. He had his boss turn it in, and he has never been interviewed by the FBI. Sound familiar? Kind of like Harrison Smith had never been interviewed by the FBI.
After you reported it? Never heard anything.
And never heard anything from them. I was the first person to interview this witness.
That's kind of what prompted me to send it in. It just didn't sit right with me.
And it didn't sit right with me.
And how certain are you that it was Tyler Robinson that you saw?
100%.
How certain was Lance Twiggs that it was Tyler Robinson? You guys remember that? I can't say for certain. He can't say for certain. But this random kid who's a waiter at Penguich at Cowboy Smokehouse, he can say for certain.
My boss, we reached out to the authorities. He contacted the FBI. They got our contact information, but we never heard anything from them.
You never heard back from the FBI after you reported it?
Never heard anything. And that's kind of what prompted me to send it in. It just didn't sit right with me.
And how certain are you that it was Tyler Robinson that you saw?
100%.
100%?
When I had heard his voice, he was just a weird guy, and I wasn't really paying attention to my phone that day. I'd seen that Charlie had been shot, and I didn't really want to give any of my energy to it until I was done with work. And the next morning I went to my other job, and my coworker was kind of talking to me about it. He pulled up a picture. He said I looked like I was a little shocked by it, because I recognized the face. And then later that night, or that day rather, they released a video of him getting his college acceptance letter, and when I heard his voice, it was no doubt in my mind that was him.
When I heard his voice, there was no doubt that it was him. It was the voice. He had to have heard him speak to recognize his voice. This kid, 100% ID'd Tyler Robinson, 3 hours away from Orem, when the feds say that he's in Orem. This breaks the Fed timeline, period. Those same text messages are the source of their confession. It is the source of his movements after the assassination, right? A lot of their case depends upon that. If he was 3 hours away, either he didn't send those texts, someone else did, or they're fabricated completely by whoever extracted them. Their case falls apart. That's why they started attacking me so hard for reporting this. The case falls apart, and I have the receipt.
That was used that night. And do you know what time he left?
It was close to closing, so it was around...
What time do you guys close?
10 o'clock.
The receipt that I have here, and I have the receipt.
The receipt that I have here, and I have the receipt, and I do have the receipt, and now I have copies of the receipt, and other people have copies of the receipt.
That was used that night by him. It says 9:47 on the checkout time. Does that sound about right?
Sounds about right, and I was the one who helped him check out, too.
And you were the one that helped him check out?
Yep.
So you're the one that you took the card from him?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's just like I told. I took the card. I figured that would be good information for the feds to look into it, and
they never checked into it, not once.
I don't know if they checked into that. I know they got that information from my boss.
So they got the information, but you don't know. You never heard back again.
Never heard anything from them. No.
The defense, did the prosecution ever reach out to you guys to come testify or anything like that?
No one's reached out to us at all.
The defense hasn't reached out to you?
Nope.
No one's reached out to you whatsoever, even though you saw him that night?
Yeah, no one's reached out regarding anything to do with Tyler Robinson.
Nobody's reached out with anything to do with Tyler Robinson. Another anomaly. The defense has not reached out.
Right, I'm here
to a exculpatory witness. They has not interviewed. They haven't even interviewed him. Not even interviewed. Another anomaly. Not a Candace Owens anomaly. Not a anti-Zionist, anti-Semitic anomaly. Not a Democrat anomaly. This is a law enforcement anomaly. Never reached out to him. And I did post the receipt. Literally. The receipt does not have his name on it, but it does have a timestamp. And this kid ties it. There it is. There's the receipt. Timestamp. Ordered. And this kid said that this is his receipt. So even though it's only got the debit card numbers on it, and I redacted, there's another witness, not just that kid. There's two witnesses. Okay. The other server who he was helping that night, they have not, I haven't published anything from them. They have not spoken out publicly, but they 100% ID'd Tyler Robbins that night as well. So you have two eyewitnesses that place him in Panguitch between the times of, and this is time stamped on the receipt, 8:55 on 9/10/25 to 9:47 p.m. 9/10/25. That is a problem for the Fedslop. Big time. Big time. Huge. And the defense has to depose these witnesses, and they have to take a copy of the receipt. And we may or may not make that happen for them to at least acknowledge it. They're going to be really upset about that. It's going to be done all above board. Everybody's going to get a copy. The judge, the defense, the prosecution, certified mail. So we'll see what happens with that. See what happens with that. And then there's a nice meme. Tyler Robinson makes the Panguitch run in less than 12 parsecs. Shout out to, I forget the guy that made that meme. But that shit is funny. Because that's pretty much what they're saying, is that he time traveled to be in Panguitch and in Orem at the same time, which we all know is not possible. So, yeah, I think we're going to quit on that note. We can open it up for discussion, and then we'll wrap it up. I'm sorry that you guys couldn't hear the video on YouTube, but I'll get it dialed in later. Or I'm sorry, in the space, but we'll get it dialed in later. What's up, Noah?
Thank you for the space. It's diligent. So you mentioned Terryl Farnsworth, and you know the sequence of events being like dreamlike and not making any logical sense. The lack of ambulances is a super huge deal, and it places a huge spotlight
Another anomaly.
on anomaly. But when you really break it down, it's really bad light on the $1 million security team. So when something super traumatic like that happens, the $1 million security team has got to accept the roles and responsibilities of an emergency medical team. So let's break it down. Charlie Kirk is injured. What happens is first you secure the scene, which you cannot do during a violent attack, but you can use the officers around you when you are escorting Charlie to the vehicle to help guard him. That did not happen. Number two, you got to establish
Charlie,
IV access or interosseous access. They didn't have any of that equipment. Number three, you got to stabilize the head, neck, and spine. They didn't have any of that equipment. Now, on the way there, they cut off his shirt. There are three reasons to do this. Number one, you're looking for another sign of hemorrhage, but according to the narrative, he was shot in the neck. He is not hemorrhaging from the body. Number two, you're going to apply an endotracheal tube to help with ventilations in the case of respiratory arrest. They didn't have any of that equipment on hand. Number three, you're going to apply an automated external defibrillator and a vital machine. They didn't have any of that on hand. In fact, it was what's his name on the Sean Ryan show that said, well, I cut his shirt off because I thought that maybe he would need an AED once we reach the ER. So that is completely wasted effort. If you're on your way and there's a traumatic injury, you're applying pressure to wounds, you're helping with ventilations, you might even be holding his hand. None of that was happening. So again, I mean, when you like really break down what was happening with that security team, none of it makes sense. Anyways, Great spaces.
Thank you. Yeah, a lot of anomalies with that security team. Again, if you guys are over on YouTube, if you're on X, if you want to go see these posts that I did this space and these points from, these are all my own posts. A lot of them were boots on the ground work or just researching investigation. Not all of it's attributed to me. There's a lot of great, citizen journalists on this. Baron Coleman, Alley Files, Muppet Master, Mel, Village Lady Mel. I always get her name wrong. Ian Carroll. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. The people who have contributed to this thing. It's been a massive effort to try to get to the truth. And I think what I'll do is I will go through this list tomorrow because there's some good stuff here. This is a walkthrough that I did. It's my body cam. My body cam stayed working, but if you want to know the layout and get a good first person view, I recorded a lot of my journey through UVU multiple times. And so what I'll do is I will quote post these so they're on my main timeline tonight or tomorrow, and then you guys can look through them. So, but anyways, I wanted to just say, the whole point of this thing was to show, this isn't about hating TPUSA. It's not about, Candace Owens. It's not about Erika Kirk, right? This is about clear issues and red flags with the Charlie Kirk case that have nothing to do with anybody in particular, has more to do with a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons. And we want to get to the truth, and we deserve to. This case has massive implications nationally and even internationally. And so, they can try to say it's, you're just trying to get to the Jews. You're trying to blame Israel. You're trying to, have the Democrats win. You hate Trump, whatever, right? Just anything you can imagine other than all of these glaring reasons to not buy the Fedslop narrative, right? There is just, I only gave you a small portion of them. If I could probably write multiple books if I went back through all of my research over the last 10 months and tried to compile them in a compendium based on primary evidence, not anything that's conjecture or a blurry video or a theory. I can give you an encyclopedia set of things that are wrong with this case that do not fit the Fedslop narrative. And that's just all there is to it. Have a good night, everybody. God bless you. I'm going to host a subscriber space and a members only space show this weekend. I'm going to be traveling. I am going back to Utah. I'm not sure exactly when that's happening. It's going to be happening over the next week or two. And I will be doing some more boots on the ground investigations. Anything that you contribute, subscribe, whatever, that's all going towards that. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope that we all learned something, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Make sure you're following AJ, my co-host. She's amazing. She's our token courtroom addict. She loves the courtroom drama. So make sure you're following her. She's really awesome. Have a good night, everybody. God bless you.